Hi, my name is Joanna Walsh and I work here in the National University of Ireland, Galway. So I'm just going to bring you through a presentation and I welcome any questions you might have. Okay, so to start. National University of Ireland, Galway was established in 1845, so we've been here for quite some time. The structure is such that it's divided into 5 colleges: the College of Arts, Social Sciences and Celtic Studies, the College of Business, Public Policy and Law, the College of Engineering and Informatics, the College of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences, and the College of Science. We award bachelor degrees, master's degree, and we also have PhD students here. Our academic term runs for the undergraduate and postgraduate students from September till May, and it's a co-educational, non-denominational university. Just some facts, things you may not already know about NUI Galway. We are one of the only 2 Irish universities to hold the prestigious accolade of 5 stars in the QS Stars rating. We're 3rd of the Irish universities in the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2012. We are one of Ireland's top universities for graduate employability, with over 93% of our graduates working in further study within 6 months of graduating. So 6 months following their graduation, they either have found work or they're perhaps doing a PhD or some further education. And our student completion rate is higher than any other university in Ireland at 86%. So once you come, you stay. Some other facts: we are leading the way in student volunteering and civic engagement, with more than 1,000 students giving 30,000 hours of voluntary activity in the last year. And also there's some major developments going on campus, so I'll show you some images of some of our fabulous new buildings. We're in the final stages of a 400 million capital investment programme, and this has really transformed the campus. And it also means we have a good mix of old buildings and very new buildings, and of course we have the best facilities then to offer staff in terms of teaching and research. And just one other interesting fact: it's home to the fastest expanding campus in the country, where we're investing €0.7 million per week to develop a world-class learning environment for our students. Okay, so this is, if we were to bring you on a tour of the campus, this slide here shows the quadrangle building. So the quadrangle building is where the university was first established. So back in 1845 it was established. I suppose students didn't really start classes until 1849. We would have had about 70 or 80 students all studying within that quadrangle building, and it's a beautiful Gothic building. At present, back then it would have been exams, classes, everything going on within the quadrangle building. Obviously the campus has spread a good bit since, but at the moment it's still half academic and half administration. So in one half of the building we would have classes going on in botany and plant science, and in the other half of the building then there's the president of the university is situated in this building, and departments such as human resources, accounts. So it's also the Aula Maxima, is one of the most oldest halls on campus, the oldest hall on campus in fact, and back in 1845 and later it would have there would have been graduation ceremonies and things like that in that hall. At present it's sometimes used for exams, but mostly for concerts or events, special events. Okay, so from the really old to the really new. This is, I suppose, our one of our newest buildings, and one we're very proud of. It's our engineering building. If you ever happen to come on campus and come on a tour of this building, it's just very interesting. It's been described as a living laboratory, and what that means is that engineering students of the past designed it for the engineering students of the future. It's, I suppose, as you go around the building itself is designed to educate students. So you have glass panels in the wall and glass panels on the floor, so you can see in where the structure has been reinforced with the steel. Students have access to the control centre of the building. They can see how everything works and how a building of this nature would be managed. And it's just so high tech. You can see those glass windows along the front. There's some study areas in there, And for example, when it gets quite hot in summer, the whole building is temperature controlled, and as is those study areas. So if the temperature has risen above a certain level, the windows automatically open. So very cozy area to study in. Okay, so to give you an idea, as I mentioned, the university was established back in 1845. So we're situated in the middle of the city. You can see there the campus situated alongside the River Corrib. So it's a very scenic campus. The River Corrib runs alongside the campus into Galway Bay. And you're not more than a 15-minute walk from the town centre at any one time. It's very handy for students in that the city is quite flat, so if you have a bicycle you can get anywhere you need to go. And of course this helps with living expenses. You don't have to take buses or trains. Everything really is within walking distance, and there's good availability of accommodation in the city centre, and indeed just around the campus. So there's residential accommodation also. The city itself has a population of students of, say, 20% of the 70,000 people within the city. 20% are students. So during term time, 1 in 5 of the population of Galway is going to be a student. It makes it a very student-friendly city. It's very lively. There's always a good buzz around Galway. Even during the summer months, it's a very good tourist destination, and I'll go through some of the places to visit later on. But just to give you a feel there can be a kind of a bohemian feel around some of the city, very arty. And just Galway is a lovely place to walk around, and I'll have some images later on. Okay, so yeah, this is one of our new buildings too, the Information Technology building, and you can see where it overlooks the River Corrib. So on a nice summer's day you can sit out and have your coffee outside. In the background you can also see the cathedral of the city. It's very close to the campus, and indeed there's a hospital across the road also. So you have all of your facilities within the campus, and if you look again, everything is self-contained, so everything is within the one area. With some universities you might have to travel across town for a lecture, but in NUI Galway we're a self-contained campus, so you may have to walk from one end of the campus to the other, but everything is contained within that site. And that's the Information Technology building. This is our College of Business, Public Policy and Law. And to give you an idea, our on-campus accommodation, Corrib Village, is right beside the Cairns School of Business and Economics. So the lucky students that get to stay on campus have little more than a few minutes to jump out of their apartment and get into lectures. So very convenient. Okay, so at present we have a student body of under 18,000, about 17,500 students. So this consists of our undergraduate, postgraduate thought and postgraduate research students, perhaps doing PhDs. For undergraduate, full-time undergraduate would be 12,300, and then combined with part-time undergraduate students, you're talking about 14,500 undergraduate students. Then at postgraduate thought level, you have students coming to perhaps study for a year or perhaps 2 in their chosen area. Again, we've 2,100 students in postgraduate level, and at postgraduate research then their PhD students we have about 1,000, so that brings us up to the total of 17,470. So then just to go through the academic structure, I mentioned that the university is structured into 5 colleges. Within each college you have some schools. It's subdivided into schools. So for example, the College of Arts, Social Sciences and Celtic Studies consists of the School of Political Science and Sociology, the School of Psychology, the School of Education, the School of Geography and Archaeology, the School of Humanities, the School of Languages, Literature and Cultures, and the Académie. The Académie is the Irish Language Academy. So I suppose historically speaking, Galway has a Gaeltacht region within the county, and this is a region where the Irish language is still spoken. So in order to cater for this, we would run programs through Irish on campus, and we have an Irish language centre or academy. And it's interesting for international students because if you can go into the academic and have a coffee, everyone is going to be speaking through Irish, and you get the opportunity to perhaps listen in and pick up a couple of Irish words. And of course then if you wish to develop your Irish further, you can attend conversational classes or perhaps do a diploma in Irish if you really want to have your cúpla focal once you graduate. Now, for the College of Business, Public Policy and Law, that's subdivided into the School of Business and Economics and the School of Law. And for the College of Engineering and Informatics then, that would be subdivided into the disciplines Civil Engineering, Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Engineering Hydrology, Industrial Engineering, Information Technology and Mechanical and Biomedical Engineering. And again then for the College of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences, that's subdivided into the School of Health Sciences, the School of Medicine and the School of Nursing and Midwifery, with the College of Science subdivided into the schools of Chemistry, Physics, Mathematics, Statistics and Applied Mathematics and the School of Natural Sciences. Now, I also mentioned our PhD students on campus, so we have some very well developed and famous research institutes. And I suppose just to give a background into the biomedical science, you may be aware that Galway is the European hub for biomedical science. So we're lucky enough to have 8 of the 10 biggest organisations present here in Galway. We have Boston Scientific, Creganna, Medtronic, and alongside that a lot of spin-off companies that specialise in biomedical science. And Galway being the European hub for biomedical science, so I suppose when these American multinationals looked to Europe and looked for a centre to base their European operations from, they chose Galway. So we're lucky enough then to have input from those organisations in our programmes. So we have a research centre dedicated to biomedical science and biomedical engineering, and of course this gives students great opportunities in terms of research, and indeed those companies come on campus to our recruitment fairs and they would speak to our students and discuss employment opportunities in the organisation. So we really have a centre of excellence for biomedical science and biomedical engineering. Now, some of our other research centres on campus are the Moore Institute, Remedy. Again, this is for regenerative medicine, an institute especially for this. Because the hospital is located beside the campus, there's good opportunities for students in the area of medicine also. And we have a world-class regenerative medicine institute doing very specific research and making great headway. We also have a Centre for Innovation and Structural Change, and DERI, that's our Digital Enterprise and Research Institute. So in terms of international ranking, I suppose how we do amongst other universities, we're 3rd in Ireland and 1st outside of Dublin. We were ranked 336th in the Times Higher Education rankings, and that was in 2012-2013, and this was an increase of 31 places on the previous year's position. Our QS star ranking systems, we have the top rating of 5 stars for quality of teaching and research facilities, for civic engagement and internationalisation and innovation. And in 2012, NUI Galway was named 207th in the 2012-2013 QS World University Rankings, which was a rise of 11 places on the previous year. In terms of our reputation, in 2013, NUI Galway was ranked in the top 150 universities in the world in computer science, information systems and history, and this was in the QS World University Rankings by subject. We were also in the top 200 in those rankings in the world in English, language and literature, pharmacology and law. We also hosted the Coimbra conference earlier this year on campus. Some other claims to fame that we have were the first in Ireland to be awarded the UNESCO chair, that's Pat Dolan. We're first in Ireland for our Centre for Health Promotion Research status. The Sunday Times University Guide awarded us first in Ireland in terms of student retention, and I spoke about that earlier. So when you come to the university in Galway, you stay, and we're the top university in Ireland for this. And we're one of the top universities for graduate employability, with 93% of our graduates either working or in further studies within 6 months of graduating. We're first in Ireland for commercialisation of research. So I suppose alongside our research institutes, we also have a technology transfer office. So this office, if you come up with your piece of research, this office will help you patent your research and develop it and commercialise your research. So we have the largest number of patents of any Irish university. We're also first in Ireland in terms of student society volunteering and civic engagement. So now I just go through an overview of the undergraduate programmes. The degree structure. It's a little bit different to the US. Students in the US will probably be used to going into the degree programme, and for the first year or two perhaps there's a very general ed kind of element where you have a whole range of subjects, and then it's only in later years you focus in on what you would really like to study. The degree structure is different somewhat here in Ireland and in NUI Galway, in that we have our 5 colleges, and when you choose a programme, say in engineering, you're pretty much, that is your focus for your degree. And the same with the science, you have, if your chosen area is science, and for example biomedical science, that is what you're going to study. So I suppose it's good in one way in that if you're quite sure where you want your career to go, your years that you study really count towards your final qualification. So you have 4 years in the area that you really want to be in, and you probably finish up that little bit earlier and have the qualification in your hand. We do have open programs, and that being that there might be say for example if you went into undenominated science but you're not quite sure if biomedical science is your area or maybe something else, you could go into an undenominated science program, study biomedical sciences and a couple of other subjects, and then decide in the second or third year what you really want to focus on. So, and another example there is the Bachelor of Arts program, which I will go through in more detail in a later slide. For the denominated programs such as the Bachelor of Science and Biomedical Science, you're in your specialism from year 1, and again the civil engineering program would be another example of that. So duration, you would be 3 years or perhaps 4 years for arts, business or law program. Now the 4th year might be your international experience year. So you could come out with your Bachelor of Arts in 3 years, but if you chose to go abroad for a year and have that international experience, then it's going to take you 4 years. And it's generally then 4 years for the science and engineering degree, undergraduate degree programs, and it's 6 years then for your medicine. How it's measured then, there's the European Credit Transfer and Accumulation System, so ECTs. So bachelor degree programs are 60 ECT credits per year, and the ECTs credit measure classroom hours and overall workload, and that would include assignments and independent study. 1 ECT equals to 0.6 US credit hours approximately. So I suppose all of the universities in Europe are measured in the same way so that your qualification is recognised worldwide. So teaching and assessment. The teaching and assessment, there's a combination of lectures and tutorials, or for more science-oriented focused programs, lab sessions. So your lecture, there may be 100 students in the lecture hall, and that's when you sit down and you mostly take notes and listen, whereas the tutorial may be 20, 30 students, and that's more full on, and that's when you can really interact with your tutor and ask questions. So you have approximately 20 contact hours per week. So that's the 20 hours where you need to come into either your tutorials or your lectures, and outside of that then you would also have to have your study hours also to prepare your notes and do your research. It's probably less continuous assessment than in the US college system. and that you kind of you're responsible for your own study. A lot will weigh on your final exam at the end of the year. So I suppose you need to be careful that if you go into first year and there may not be any exams coming your way, they are going to come your way, but perhaps a little later in the year. So just be conscious of that, and just to make sure to keep up. Of course, first year in college can be not as demanding as the later years, but I suppose it's just important to keep in touch and keep track and keep up to date with your work. Yeah, there's a culture of independent learning, so there's a little bit more responsibility is put on the student to do their own reading up and research and prepare for exams. Most classes are assessed by a midterm assessment, and that accounts for 25% of the marks, and an end of semester written exam, which accounts for 75% of the marks. So if you're thinking that exam at the end of the year, that's when you're really going to put a lot of study in. That final exam will account for 3/4 of your final mark. Class participation, attendance, homework may not be included in the final grade, but of course it's good to build up a good relationship and make sure that your lecturer knows who you are and knows that you are attending. And of course, if you need clarification on any item, you can approach your lecturer for assistance, or if there's any area that you feel you might not be strong in, you could go to your lecturer and see is there any additional reading that you could do, or anything that might help you out with that particular module or subject. Okay, so an overview of our undergraduate programs. Generally speaking, we have our Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Commerce, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Medicine, of Surgery and Obstetrics, Bachelor of Corporate Law, and Bachelor of Civil Law. Now, under our College of Arts, the Bachelor of Arts is probably the most popular choice among the US undergraduates studying at NUI Galway. It's a multidisciplinary degree, so although it might not be there might not be as much choice or as big a range of subjects as your general ed degree in the States, there's a little bit more choice than perhaps our other programs. So as we would describe it then as an open degree, so you can choose 4 subjects in year 1, and then which is good. You might have a subject that you really are interested in and want to focus in on. You pick that, and you can pick 3 other subjects, and perhaps that subject isn't really what you expected, so you still have a bit of choice there of 3 other subjects that you could focus in. So for second year then you focus in on 2 subjects, and then you graduate then with a joint honours degree or a double major. And again, you could have that in your 3 years, or should you choose the 4-year option, you have the choice of going abroad for a year to get your international experience. You could even, perhaps the US students could go back to a university in the States for the year to get that experience. Okay, so just to delve a bit further into the Bachelor of Arts program, because it's one of the more popular one among our US undergraduate students. So you've 7 group of subjects. So remember, you have 4 subjects to pick. So you pick 1 from each group, and then of course you have to be mindful of timetabling. They're grouped for timetabling reasons. So you have, say, archaeology, and you could choose Celtic civilization, economics, and perhaps Italian. And if you chose that subject, you may choose to go to Italy on your international year. Again, if you could choose perhaps psychology, or if that's the area you want to go into, and sociology and political studies, perhaps Spanish and English. You know, it gives you a good range. And if you're not too sure of what area you want to focus in on, you can keep a few things open. Okay. The BA Connect program then, again, it's a very popular choice among the US students, especially the creative writing. The BA Omnibus is combined with one of the following specialist subjects. So if human rights is the area that you really like to get into, film studies, Latin American studies, Irish studies, children's studies, creative writing, theatre or performance, or journalism. So say if your mind is made up that that is one of the areas that you want to get into, you could do the BA Connect program. And how that's structured then, so for First Arts, similar to the Omnibus, you have 4 subjects, but your specialism, such as say journalism, is one of those subjects, and then you choose your A, B and C as well. Then for second arts, you have your specialism with 2 subjects. For third arts, you could do your 2 subjects abroad, and then for your final arts, you have the choice of doing your other 2 subjects. So you concentrate on your specialist subject and then combine it with your other 2 subjects. Bachelor of Commerce then could be 3 or 4 years, depending if you wish to take advantage of the international experience. Again, there's majors in accounting, economics, management of human resources, marketing, management information systems. And we also have a Bachelor of Science in Business Information Systems, which is a 4-year program that combines business subjects such as accounting, economics and marketing with more technology focused subjects such as databases, systems analysis and networks. So then just to delve a bit further into say the recent initiative, the BCom with international experience. So our BCom and BCom Accounting are 4-year degree programs. For the study abroad dimension, then there's 1 or perhaps 2 semesters of study through English at an international partner university in North America, Asia or Europe in 3rd year. And you could do that for 1 semester and then perhaps an intern or placementship for the other semester. It is competitive entry and you graduate after 4 years with the Bachelor of Commerce and International Experience. And just in relation to the internship and placement, we do have a placement office on campus to help you get the placement that you want, and there's also a career development office. The career development office organise those recruitment fairs that I mentioned, so they organise for companies to come on campus a couple of times a year so that you can get yourself ready for the job market, as they call it. They also would help you develop your CV and go through perhaps interview skills with you. So I suppose it's good as you come into the later years of your degree program to be mindful of the next step, because your degree is a step in your career and you have to think about your career and where you want to go and how best to use this experience. Okay. So the 2nd year study abroad option, I have some pictures of students and their comments. So Alan Walsh back in 2010 said, "I never expected to be walking the snowy pathways of a prestigious New York university, standing at the top of the Empire State Building, or experience magnificent scenery of Montreal as a direct result of choosing business information systems at NUI Galway." And there's some more industry placement students. And then Laura Conroy, "I'm very happy I decided to do my placement in Hamburg with IBM. Only for my contract finishes at the end of July, you would find it hard to get me back to Galway." So again, it's very good experience to put on your CV. You have your, it shows that, and as it would with any international student that chooses to go abroad for their education, you're that bit more dependent and you have the get up and go, if you like, to go abroad and take on this challenge. So I think that's good, and of course you're getting this international perspective to your experience, so that if you choose to work in, say, the EU or a country abroad, they can see that you like the challenges in your life and that you're able to take them on and you welcome such things. Okay, so some of our graduates. The President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, is actually a graduate of a National University of Ireland, Galway, as is our Prime Minister, our Taoiseach as we call him, Enda Kenny. The Chief Executive of the Irish Aviation Authority, Eamon Brennan, is also a graduate of NUI Galway. The Managing Director of Sony Music is a graduate of NUI Galway, as is the Vice President of the Coca-Cola Company, Ariel Finan, and Adrian Jones, MD of Goldman Sachs, New York. So you're following in some big footsteps there. Our law programs then. So we have a Bachelor of Civil Law or a Bachelor of Corporate Law. So again, you need to decide which do you want to get into, more the corporate business end of things or the civil law. The Bachelor of Civil Law can be 3 or 4 years and provides a solid grounding in all core law courses, including constitutional law, contract law, law of torts, administrative law, company law, criminal law, European Community law, equity and land law. And just to note, the Bachelor of Civil Law graduates are eligible to sit the bar exam in New York upon they graduate. Then we also have our Bachelor of Corporate Law, which combines the law courses with the key elements of business. Then I spoke earlier about whether you want to go the undenominated route and sample a little bit of everything, or go for the denominated degree. So you specialise earlier on and you know the area that you want to be in. So the Bachelor of Science is an open degree that gives you a chance to specialise later on. And then for the denominated degree, you specialise, you know from day one that you're going to go into either biomedical science, marine science, biotechnology, environmental science, financial mathematics and economics, physics with astrophysics, or mathematical science. And again, because Galway is on the coast, marine science would be a very strong discipline on campus, and there would also be opportunities in the marine science programme to go out on the Celtic Explorer and do your research, marine research in that manner. We have then our Bachelor of Engineering, which is a 4-year programme. Again, you can go the undenominated route or specialise earlier on in either civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electronic and computer engineering, biomedical engineering, environmental engineering, project and construction management, sports and exercise engineering, energy systems engineering, and computer science and information technology. Okay, so entry requirements. This is a question that comes up quite often, and it varies according to programme. So any of the guidelines I'm going to give in the next few slides would be kind of our minimum. I suppose if you're going to go into one of the more specialist programmes, you might, because there'd be higher demand for those programmes, it might be a little bit more difficult to get into. And of course for engineering programmes you need to make sure that you have maths, and AP in maths would strengthen your application for such programmes. Okay, so we'd be looking for, and I suppose just to outline, it's a little bit different to the US where they take in a big combination of factors. Here in Ireland and in NUI Galway, we take into account more academic aspects of the application. So we look really at the grades, and we would look at a combination of perhaps 3 things. If you had a GPA, we'd be looking at, say, a cumulative GPA of 3 and over. Again, based on the academic subjects, and this should include English, maths, and sometimes a language if it's required for your chosen programme. SAT, you'd be looking at 17,000 plus, ACT 25, and as I said, APs, okay, we would like to see 2 APs in relevant subjects. And there's also the SAT, two relevant subjects, less than 600, greater than 600, sorry. So I suppose if you come to, if you have a GPA and an SAT, we would look at those 2. We would look at the combination. You don't necessarily have to have everything. And again, if you email us and query any part of this, we can respond. But that's simply just a guideline. Okay. So our entry requirements for Canada, again, vary by programme. And yeah, just we look at each application on a case-by-case basis. And if you're worrying at this stage that perhaps you don't have one of those grades, we will look at the other grades, and we will look at your letter of application, or just to see your reasons for doing the programme. Just try to assess, and we perhaps talk to the student also to get a good measure of what programme would suit them best, and what they should study, or what would work best for them should they come to NUI Galway to study. So yes, each application is assessed on a case-by-case basis. Generally, for Canada students, we look for Alberta General High School with an average of at least 65% in the relevant grade 12 courses. British Columbia Senior Secondary Graduation with a B average in relevant grade 12 courses. Manitoba, the High School Graduation Diploma with a 65% average. And then we have Ontario, the Ontario Secondary School Diploma with an average of 80% in 6 grade 12 courses, and grade 12 Secondary School Diploma with an average of at least 65% in relevant subjects. Again, if you just want to contact me direct or the international office, we can answer any queries you have and guide you through the application process. And I suppose just on that, we welcome applications at any time of the year, and offers are made on a rolling basis. So if you complete your application form, we should come back to you within a couple of weeks, and if you email us to get a guide as to when you should expect to hear from us, and we can guide you through the process and let you know when you should hear from us. All non-EU students should apply directly to the international office. Offers med, and that's except for medicine. So say if we received your application before the 1st of January, we should be back to you by the 1st of February, and so on and so on. The final closing date though is the 30th of June, and this is because the students here in Ireland at that stage will have got their offers, so it's very difficult to make offers after that point. Places are filled. What your application consists of. Now the application form is available online, and if you email the international office we can send it on to you. The last page of that application form gives you all the directions that you need, and what you need to do and what you need to include. But the application should consist of a completed application form, references, and a statement. That's a statement of purpose, or that letter really, you give your reasons why you want to come here and why you think your application should be considered, and why, say, the creative writing program is the program you wish to choose. You should also include or request your SAT report card or your ACT scores and your high school transcript. So again, all of the details are on the last page of the application form, and it includes our SAT College Board code. Now we take all applications except for medicine, so application from international students can only be made through those links, and if you're applying outside the countries indicated, you should also apply through one of those agencies. So for North American students, they should apply through Atlantic Bridge, and it's at www.atlanticbridge.com, and then for the other countries it's via the IUMC. Now we also have a range of postgraduate programs. I'll just run through these quickly just to give you an idea of what's available. So under the College of Business, we'd have a Masters in Science and Strategy, Innovation and People Management, Electronic Commerce, International Management, International Finance. And again, there are a lot more masters available in the College of Business, but I've just picked a few just to give you an idea of, or a flavour of what's available. We'd have Strategic Marketing, Finance and Information Systems. Under our law, and just to highlight that the Irish Centre for Human Rights is actually on campus here in NUI Galway. So we offer some very interesting programmes, the International and Comparative Disability Law and Policy, Criminal Law, International Human Rights. And you could also do your Bachelor of Law. If you come from any other academic background, you can go in and get a Bachelor of Law and proceed from there. The Human Rights Law is one master's program I'll comment on. It's a very interesting program. It gives the graduate opportunities to work for, say, NGOs all over the world, and it's if you have an interest in that area, really you're in the Irish Centre for Human Rights, so the visiting lecturers that come there, you really get to see some very interesting speakers. And there's also an intern opportunity at the end of that master's program, and as such is the amount of opportunities from it that we simply did not have enough students to fill the intern opportunities. Okay, so that's just an example of one master's program available for the Irish Centre of Human Rights. Again, through science you have applied maths, so you have microbiology, biotechnology, medical physics, neuropharmacology, toxicology. And then under postgraduate programs in our College of Arts, we'd have advanced language skills, ABA, applied behavioural analysis, archaeology, classics, conference interpreting, culture and colonialism, digital media, drama and theatre, and writing. And again, there's a lot more programs available, but I just wanted to give you a flavour of what's there. Okay, so tuition, the important question. The tuition fees that are given here, and I've tried to give the currency. I see an extra figure there in one slide, but undergraduate, for if you choose an arts, business or law program, you're talking €12,750, so it's equivalent to over 17,000 US dollars. For science and engineering, then, I suppose because there's a lab and a little bit more equipment required for such programs, the tuition fee for that is €13,750 per annum, or 18,500 US dollars. Medicine is €31,000 per annum, which equates to nearly 42,000 US dollars. Then at postgraduate level, similar tuition fees apply. Arts, business, law is 13,250 or 17,890 US dollars, and science and engineering 13,750, which is as above 18,575 US dollars. Okay, so a lot of students ask, what's the big picture, or what's it going to cost? This is simply a guide. So we've tried to give you a ballpark figure. I think it's a generous enough figure. We've included a sum in this amount for recreation, clothes, laundry, books and study material. So in total, with tuition fees, the figure for housing, food, books, clothes and laundry, recreation, you're talking at maybe €21,600 or 29,000 US dollars. And I suppose, just to delve into those figures a bit, the figure for housing would be at the higher end of the scale, so that would be based on your on-campus accommodation, Carb Village here on campus. So there would be a payment per semester, but the total year would be 3,500 or about 350 per month. There are other options. I know myself, I rent accommodation and I pay 250 per month. So that's just to give you, some students would say, wow, that's way too much, and some students then might not be enough if they want to go on trips to Paris or trips around Europe. It depends what you're willing to spend, or what you're going to do. And again, there's a figure for recreation. You know, there's ways of saving by joining a lot of the clubs and societies, and by just simply by being a student, you can get a lot of services at a reduced rate, or get student rates as we call it, by presenting your student card. Books and study material, there is a figure given for that also. And just to note that a lot of your books will be available in the library on campus, so you don't have to go and buy everything. You can pretty much rent them out or share them amongst a group of students, say, that are living together. But I suppose there are some core books then that you would need to have for your coursework. Okay, so federal aid. NUI Galway is approved by the US government to certify financial aid under the William D. Ford Direct Loan Programme. Federal direct loans are subsidised and unsubsidised. The Pell Grants are not an option at NUI Galway. So we have a dedicated person that deals with, and that's her responsibility, is federal aid, and that's my colleague Florinda Green, who can give you assistance on any query to do with federal aid. So how to apply: you would complete your FAFSA free application for federal student aid online at that website, ensuring that you list NUI Galway's the school code G12766 in your choice of schools. You should also visit our federal aid webpage for information and follow the instructions there. Students not eligible for federal loans may qualify for a private loan, credit-based, higher interest rate, but still subject to maximum cost of attendance. Canadian student loans. Students apply for student financial assistance through their province or territory of permanent residence. Information on applying for loans can be found at www.canlearn.ca, and NUI Galway provides programme information, confirmation of enrolment and completion of forms for tax purposes. And again, that's through my colleague Florinda Green, the federal aid person. The student experience. So student volunteering. NUI Galway is recognised as Ireland's leading university for civic engagement. There we have an Alive programme, and that's open to all students, and it provides training and opportunities to volunteer in Ireland and overseas. Students can also receive course credit for volunteering, and they also get a certificate at the end, which is very good for your CV. And I think it's good to to be involved in such activities. It gives you experience outside of the campus, and you get to meet and interact with the different people. And I think it's better rounded person that takes part in such things. It's a good opportunity to develop your skills in a different area, not just your study skills, but to be a more rounded person. Service learning, there's also included in over 40 degree programs our service learning module, and 800 NUI Galway students take part in the service learning modules. Okay, sports clubs. Between sports clubs and societies, there's over 100 you can get involved in. There's a very good sports clubs day at the start of the year, where all the clubs set up their stalls in the basketball arena, and you can choose to join as many as you want or as few as you want. There really is something for everyone there. I know one club that I find very good is the Mountaineering Club. It would be good, I think, for international students as well. The Mountaineering Club go on trips every Sunday, so everyone meets up in the quadrangle, which we showed you earlier on, and the bus leaves at about 10 o'clock in the morning, so you can go hill walking for the day. It's good to get away and get to see a bit of the countryside for very little money. I think it was €5 to join the Mountaineering Club, and perhaps some money then just for the bus. So it takes you out into the countryside for the day. You get to meet students, meet staff members, and get to explore also. Get with rowing, lacrosse, kayak, and that's our state-of-the-art sports centre complex. And some images of that. So it consists of a 6-lane, 25-metre swimming pool, squash and racquetball courts, National League basketball arena, a 100-piece cardiovascular gym, dedicated elite training gym, 2 fitness studios that are suitable for aerobic training, competition style climbing wall, saunas, and a steam room. And I know there's a great variation of classes available. You can join the gym or pay as you go. I know there's lunchtime classes should you be that way inclined, so you can go to your spinning classes or perhaps kettlebells at lunchtime for as little as €5. And that's an image of the swimming pool, and that's one of the running tracks. So in addition to the sports complex, we have many outdoor facilities also. We've 10 natural grass playing pitches, a synthetic grass pitch that's suitable for a wide range of sport, including hockey, soccer and Gaelic games, an 8-lane international standard track with jumping and throwing facilities, and suitable for athletics, cross country and general training. And that's because of where the campus is situated along the River Corrib. There's also opportunities for crew training also. Some of the societies, and again you can join as many or as few as you want. The Film Society would be one of my favourites. Literary and Debating, the President of Ireland was president of that society, so that's where he started. And again, it would be good to develop your personal skills and social skills. I think been involved, and also interesting and good way of interaction, meeting new people, keeping you busy, and having extra things to see and do. Arts is also very strong in Galway. As I mentioned before, it's a kind of a bohemian city, Galway. We have an Arts in Action, which is an annual programme of events on campus through the year that include theatre, dance, literature and music performances. We've partnerships with major arts organisations, including the Drood Theatre Company, Galway Arts Festival, and Thaibhearc and Cork International Festival of Literature. We have the Bailey Allen Cultural Centre on campus, a student theatre and an art gallery. We actually have 2 student theatres and the art gallery. We have the Muscot Student Arts Festival in March. We have writers in residence. We have the Chamber Orchestra. We also have a university choir. We have classical music in the Aula Maxima. There's a concert on every couple of weeks. Irish language classes and film screenings in Houston Film School. Okay, so housing. I mentioned earlier on about our on-campus accommodation in Corrib Village. So you have a couple of options open to you. Option 1 is one of the 10 student residences. They're all self-catered apartment-style buildings. They're located within 20 minutes of the campus, and one is actually on campus. You have a choice of single rooms, twin rooms, a single ensuite. Bedrooms include private study areas, and bookings are made on a first-come, first-served basis. from perhaps 300 to 350 per month approximately. And again, the international students have a bit of a head start on the Irish students in that you have your offer letter way before they have their offer of places, so you can secure your accommodation and have everything sorted. Option 2 then is privately rented accommodation, where you and a number of other students privately rent a house. So I know I live in a rented house myself, so I share with 3 other people, and we pay our landlord on a monthly basis into their account, and we share the bills between ourselves. Again, it's not as expensive. It's $250 per month perhaps, maybe a bit more depending on how many of you are in the house and how lucky you get. But yeah, that option is there also if you want to keep costs down. That's one of our student residences. That's Gort na Caraba, and that's Corch na Caraba. So again, they're not more than 10 minutes from campus, and they're all students. And if you're booking in advance, you can request who you choose to live with. If you perhaps get some people from your Bachelor of Commerce program, or students from the US, or students from Ireland, you can indicate what your choice is earlier on, and they can hopefully place you as per your requests. Now that's a sample of a double sharing room in the on-campus accommodation at Corrib Village. Okay, so support services for international students. We have a dedicated international student officer. That person is available on call 24/7, so if anything happens, or if you're worried about anything, or even if your parents need to get in contact with you quite urgently, they can ring Louise Kelly, our dedicated international student officer, and she can assist. She will also assist with any pastoral care, if someone is homesick or they need anything, or they need the doctor, she can help them out in that way or point them in the right direction. The international office will also provide advice on visa and immigration, any letters you require, letter to open your bank account, for example. We run very good orientation programs in September and again in January for our study abroad students. So the orientation program go on for nearly 2 weeks. We have Fáilte mornings each day, which is a drop-in service, so that if you have missed perhaps a campus tour or one part of the orientation program, the main orientation program, you can still drop in and meet with staff members of the international office and ask them questions. I also organise meet and greet sessions, so I get the group of undergrad students from the US together, and I organised from some students from the previous year to come, introduce them, and there's only so much information that we can give, and sometimes they want to know, well, what nightclubs should I go to, or where is good in town. So the meet and greet is a good way for them to meet with students that have already been in their position, and they can advise them on that. We also have a Gaelic experience programme, so you get to experience the Irish language and the Gaelic culture. The accommodation office is also on campus to give you guidance on if you choose your residency, but if you want to go to the private housing route, they can give a list of options. We also have an on-campus medical centre, so you can go and visit the doctor or nurse for free. The Connect programme is another programme introduced this year, so that all first-year students had a buddying system or a partner friend, I suppose, from the previous year, so they had someone to go to and someone to talk to if they were needed advice on any aspect. So there was nice to know that there's someone there. Counselling service again is free of charge, and the career development office, as I mentioned earlier, can give you advice on your CV, interview skills, and arrange events so that you can meet with prospective employers. Okay, so I've gone through some of the arts already, and now there's an image from our student theatre. Again, if you choose to study one of the Bachelor of Arts omnibus, or say your Bachelor of Commerce, but you always wanted to be involved in theatre, there's plenty of opportunities in the GUM Society to get involved in productions and to follow your dreams that way also. Okay, so just to highlight some factors again, the high-tech industry hub that is in Galway. So this is a sample of some of the industries that are present. We've SAP, Medtronic, APC, Boston Scientific, Nortel, KPMG. You know, so there's plenty of employment opportunities once you graduate, and plenty of opportunities to meet with these companies when they come on campus for our recruitment fairs. Ireland as a destination, it's a first-class education centre for quality learning. We're first in the EU in terms of quality of education for all. We're first globally, the higher education system in terms of meeting the needs of the economy and other economies also. First in the EU in terms of participation in higher education. First in the EU in terms of graduate employability. First globally in terms of availability of skilled labour, which is why we attract so many large multinationals to Galway. We're first in the EU in terms of the educated workforce, and second for workforce skills. First in EU in terms of percentage of spent on education, and first in the EU with more than 50% of 30-year-olds holding a degree in Ireland. So why Ireland? It's young, it's friendly, it's safe, it's the world's friendliest country apparently. I think, yeah, for the Lonely Planet guide named it the world's friendliest country. It's known for its rugged beauty, rich literary and cultural heritage. It's innovative and creative culture, it's steeped in history, it's multicultural and very diverse. It's internationally recognised qualifications, and there's an extensive choice available. There's a unique combination of ancient heritage and modern lifestyle, and there's a supporting learning environments, and it's also an ideal place to explore Europe. Galway itself has a population of 72,000, so it's Ireland's fourth largest city, and it's known for its welcoming atmosphere and cultural and sporting festivals, the Festival of Literature, Irish Music Sessions, Film Festival, Arts Festival, the Oyster Festival, Comedy Festival, and again it's the High Tech and Biomed Hub for Europe. That's some images from our Arts Festival, and that's from their street theatre group Mockness, who actually started here on campus, started from NUI Galway. The Volvo Ocean Race, so this is the round the world yacht race. It chose Galway for one of its stages back in 2009, and so good was the reception that the Volvo Ocean Race got. When it came round again in 2012, they chose Galway to be the place to finish the ocean race, so that just shows what they thought of the welcome. And there was other cities such as Brazil chosen for other stages, so that really, I think, tells how welcoming we are. Yeah, so this is some of the places to visit. Connemara, so if you join the mountaineering club, you'd have the opportunity to go out and walk around there on a Sunday. Or against the International Student Society also organise weekends away, say to the Aran Islands, so you get to experience the life at a slower pace. And again, the Cliffs of Moher are a very popular destination, and there will be trips organised to the Cliffs of Moher and the Burren. So to conclude, why NUI Galway? It's highly ranked Irish university with over 160 years tradition of teaching and research excellence. It's a combination of old and modern campus facilities in a beautiful, safe and English-speaking location. There's a broad range of programmes available. There's bespoke classes for visiting students. There's a comprehensive support for international students. There's an unrivaled student experience and it's a hugely popular location. And there's on-campus and off-campus residences. And here's a little video.